everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while again, but I did have university. However, I'm finally done. It's over. I just finished like last month and I will be graduating in November. Virtually, of course, as per the current state of affairs, but it's definitely over. So I will be focusing more on my videos and my content and everything else that I'm doing. So, yay! Today I'm coming with a very simple video, but I've seen this kind of video like all over BookTube, which I guess I'm a part of right now, or trying to be, um, despite the difference in the type of books that I read, and the content that I make. However, this seemed like a pretty cool kind of video to make because, um, I am having a certain issue with that topic, which you know what is already because of the title. I will be introducing my TBR list, which is like the books that I plan on reading, hopefully. I think it'd be nice to make a video about it to kind of provide myself with some accountability where you guys can keep me accountable for the books that I'm supposed to be reading for myself, even though it's not for school anymore. It just seems appropriate. So, it's a very lengthy one. It's about 20 books. I know that doesn't seem too much to a lot of people, but these books are heavy and dense and pretty extensive. So let's start, shall we? I'm going to start with the bigger books and introduce them to you. Here are the piles. There's a third one over here. So let's go. The first one, I believe, is a favorite for a lot of people. It's pretty scary. I'm going to save this read for October because it's spooky. It is It by Stephen King. Now, I've never read anything by Stephen King apart from his essays. I read one essay about horror theory that I kind of enjoyed, to be honest. I think his style of writing is pretty cool. I do know a lot of people kind of don't like him though, so I mean, I guess we'll see what that's about. I'm interested to see how he writes horror exactly. So this is one. And second one is, this is an interesting one. I have no idea who this is or what the book is actually about, but the reason I bought it is because you guys know I'm a huge fan of BTS, and one of the members, Namjoon, the leader, he's a big reader, and he has this like list of books that he's read or is reading or will read eventually that he likes, and this is one of the books. It talks about depression, actually, and it is called The Noonday Demon. That's the title, by Andrew Solomon. It's an atlas of depression. So it seems pretty cool. It won the National Book Award. Seems pretty cool. So I will let you know what I think about this. This will probably be for November, I think. Because October is going to be my like spooky month, and I'm planning on reading a lot of books that have to do with mystery and horror and that kind of stuff, and suspense. So I guess we'll keep that for the month afterwards. Okay, so third big book is the Mindfulness in Plain English collection by Bhante Gunaratana. See, I have no idea why I bought this. I think I just liked the way that it looked, and I just got it. I mean, I actually have no idea what this is about, which is the fun part for me. So keep an eye out for a video on this when I figure out what it is, what it talks about. I mean, I think it's about meditation. I honestly think it is about meditation, but it could be more. So I love books like this. They're very mysterious, and I'm drawn to some, and I never know why. But when I read them, it's always for a good reason. So I guess we'll see what happens with this one. All right. So this next book from this pile, this one is a book that was recommended to me by a friend of a dear friend who I was introduced to a couple years back. And I haven't read it yet, but I really want to. I'll probably keep this for November. I think I'm going to make November my mindfulness, meditation, and self help month so we can talk about those books then. So this is Sapiens, right? And it is by Yuval Noah Harari. And a lot of people love this book. I've heard very good things. I think a lot of people like it for a good reason. I'm interested to see what it talks about. So there's that for November, that one. All right. So this one, Haruki Murakami's Kafka on the Shore. I don't think I need to say much about this one because everyone knows Murakami. Well, almost everyone. I mean, he's been pretty famous, I think. And I did not know about him until a couple years back. I haven't read anything by him. I know BTS are huge fans, or that they've read it. However, I did see an interview of his recently. I mean, the interview wasn't recent, but when I saw it, I saw it recently. By the way, I'm sorry if I'm coughing and like sneezing and I sound congested, but I just got a cat like a couple months ago or like a month ago, and I am very, very allergic to the cat. So, Haruki Murakami, Kafka on the Shore. I really want to read this and a bunch of his other books to see how his form and content go together. I think it could be an interesting thing to see. So, there's that. I don't know when I'm going to read these, by the way. Like, this could take months. So, I'm just letting y'all know. All right. So, this is another book for November, about history and self help and mindfulness and just more nonfiction stuff. This is Karen Armstrong's A History of God. I bought this years ago, actually. I think it was 3 years ago. It was when I was taking a religion lecture on like a historical religion lecture, and I just got really interested I was just very interested in uh, the history of religion. So I got this. Hopefully it will be interesting. I have no idea what to expect. Um, there are a lot of times where I read books and I start reading them and then I realize this isn't the book for me. So there are a lot of books where that will be the case, and I will let you know at the end. So, oh, and by the way, all of these books that I'm talking about will be in the description below. So check out the description below. I will leave links to all of the books, be it like whether it's on Goodreads or Amazon, I'm not sure, but it should be one of those. So keep an eye out for that if you want to go check them out. So yeah, this is like an entire history of God across all Abrahamic religions. So I think this should be an interesting philosophical take. So yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. Here is a book that I've already started reading, actually. I've been meaning to read this now before October starts, because October is strictly for spooky things. This is a self-help book. It is You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. Here it is. This one's pretty good. Like, I actually started it yesterday. I'm 20, 30 pages in. It's very cool. I actually love her writing style. I'm a sucker for a good writing style, and hers is very nice. It doesn't come off pretentious. It just comes off funny and friendly, which I really appreciate. It's kind of like talking to a friend. So I really appreciate it and I like it. The tone is there so far, and she's not like totally telling you what to do. She's just kind of like guiding you through life in a way, or just how to think about money and have a good, healthy relationship with it. I'm interested to see where it goes. So I hope it doesn't become pretentious as I go on. So maybe I'll update you guys if you want. Let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I don't see what insights I could give on that. Next up, we're going to start with fiction, I believe. This one is The Idiot by Elif Batuman. Can you see it? Is it showing? Yeah, Elif Batuman, The Idiot. This one is interesting because I started reading it actually a couple of days ago and I didn't like it. So I don't think I'm going to be reading this one. I think I'm going to give this one a hard pass. Now, no hate to Boutman, and I don't like to talk about negative things at all. Like, I don't like to give negative criticism too much, but the writing is nice. It's okay, but and I get the idea, but the main character slash narrator just comes off very pretentious to me. I mean, the reviews all say that it's very like, oh, she's a humorous, but in a, humorous, sarcastic character, but in a very dry way. It doesn't come off that way. She does not come off sarcastic. She doesn't come off dry. She just comes off very pretentious, and I don't appreciate it. But the idea is nice. I like it. It seems interesting. Yeah, see, people are saying it's funny, but I don't see it. So I think I'm just gonna give this one a hard pass. You're welcome to try and read it. The link is gonna be in the description, but yeah, I don't know. It didn't flow right for me. I didn't get the good vibes. All right. Next up. This one is a book actually that I took in class, but I never got to read the whole thing or really delve into it. It's Arundhati Roy's The God of Small Things. This is a very well received book, actually. A lot of people love it, especially in the post colonial sphere. I think, academically, everyone really liked it. Um, I know that there were speculations that one of BTS's songs was referencing this, which is Boy with Love, a poem for small things, and or a poem or a small poem. I don't know what the translation was exactly, but there was small in it. And people were speculating that it has to do with this book. Could be. I don't know. I haven't read it yet, so I'm gonna have to see and let you know. Fellow armies, we'll see what also, I want to mention, not a lot of people talk about covers and uh, the the exterior of books because people are always saying, "Oh, don't judge a book by its cover." I will do judge books by their cover, and this one is just excellent, honestly, because the material is very sleek, very nice, but it's matte, but not too matte, and I love these ends of the pages here. I don't know if you can see them, but they're a bit rough. Yeah, here we go. They're a bit rough, and it looks like it looks like a book that you would see left on a shelf somewhere, or a book that was handed down. And the pages are thick, and I love it. I actually really, really, really love this. Uh, so it makes me want to read it. I'm interested to see what Arundhati Roy has to say. All right, next up. This next book will also be part of my October binge. It is Stephen King's The Outsider, right here. Stephen King, The Outsider. And I mean, it should be cool. I'm someone that kind of scares easy sometimes when I read books. There's this book that I actually read that was terrifying. Like, this book really terrified me. I didn't expect it to, but it was stuck in my mind for like a while. And it was just the style of writing was absolutely terrifying. Not in a bad, like, not in a way where it was like a bad style of writing. No, it was so good that it scared me, because it really relayed those scary feelings. I'm hoping King does that for me too. This one is Mary Wollstonecraft, A Vindication of the Rights of Woman. Do you see how pretty this cover is? It's so nice. I really, 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 really. I saw a whole collection of these, like classic ones, um, at the bookstore that I go to, and they were all republished with these amazing, amazing designs on the cover, and they looked really cool. So, I mean, props to Arcturus Publishing House because they really slayed this. They knew what they were doing, and I just bought the whole collection. I bought the whole thing, a bunch of them, and they're all books that I like already have or have read at some point, or I could easily find online. But I really wanted to buy them in hard copy like this because they're so pretty. I'll show you like the whole collection. I have a few here right now, so you'll probably recognize them. So, A Vindication of the Rights of Woman. I don't know much about Mary Wollstonecraft, but I do know a bit of this book. There is a passage in here that I often quote a lot. Like I always post it, and it's such a beautiful passage. It's on my Instagram. Follow me there, by the way, and it's very very nice. So I'm gonna go with that one. Oh, I didn't want this on my list, but since it's here, must be a reason. This is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I actually have never read this. Like, believe it or not, I have never read Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I could probably finish this in like a day. Well, less than a day, because it's so tiny. It's like super small. Yeah, I can finish this in like an hour, man. Super tiny. I might actually read this in the next few days, or I could just save it for October since it fits with the horror theme. Might just squeeze it in there. This next one is one of those like really cool republished ones from Arcturus. Um, and this will also be for October. A Classic Tales of Horror. Um, this is an Edgar Allan Poe collection. I'm a huge fan of Poe. I love Poe so much. His writing is exceptional. And this is not like a thing where, oh, I just like all the famous authors. No, he is for real good. Like, I love his stories and his poetry. He's been someone that I've constantly loved writing on during school. So I'm excited for that. Okay, next up, this is one of my this is also part of like the republished ones with the cool covers. This is the Ecce Homo. Is that how they pronounce it? The Ecce Homo? I don't know. By Friedrich Nietzsche, his final work, I believe. Um, I'm a fan of Friedrich Nietzsche. Y'all would know if you saw my last two videos. You would know that I love Nietzsche. Um, I did read The Birth of Tragedy, obviously. I also read Twilight of the Idols after I made those videos. I had a class where we had to do it. I didn't really like Twilight of the Idols. I prefer The Birth of Tragedy. I'm interested to see what he says about them in this one, because in this one he talks about all of the things that he wrote and why he wrote them and just the final thoughts before he stopped writing. I already started reading a little bit of it. You can see the bookmark like right here, which is a BTS thing, funnily enough. But I'm interested to see what he says. So I guess we will see. All right. This is such a long list. I can't believe I'm gonna have to read all of these. I'm exhausted already just thinking about it. Anyway, we have next up. This one's a funny one. This is Lady Chatterley's Lover by D.H. Lawrence. So, people who are familiar with this title, who have studied literature or just like talked about this, would know that this was a book that was deemed to be very scandalous for the 1920s and 30s. It's like a bit scandalous for the time that it was published. So I'm interested to see what they deem as scandalous in the 1920s, the late 1920s. Next up, this is Almond by Won Pyong Son, or Son Won Pyong, and it is her debut novel. Now, a lot of people would know about this if they are fans of BTS because BTS have been reading it, or maybe if you're just like an avid reader of Korean literature, I guess you'd also, recognize this. But for me, I came to know about it because of BTS, and I have no idea what it's about. But the book club that I'm part of said that it was, they all said it was really depressing and sad and just heartbreaking, but also really, really good. And I love that. So I'm really excited to see what she writes about. I want to get her other book, which I think is Born in 1944 or 1984. Which one is it? Hold on. 1988. Yeah. Her next work is Born in 1988, which is a feminist novel, I believe. So I'm interested to see what she does in that one. All right, next up is Sigmund Freud, Dream Psychology. All right. Now I know Freud has this bit of like a bad rep to him. Not a lot of people like Freud. I do. And this is from like strictly a literary perspective, but the man knew what he was doing when it came to literary approach, honestly. There's a lot of stuff that he wrote that could be used as a lens to approach literature in a really fun way, like his interpretation of dreams. Super fun to read. Um, so I'm interested to see what he's gonna write here. Yeah. I think it might be in here actually, the interpretation of dreams. We'll have to see. Also, remember we had a class where we talked about his writing on the talking cure, which was a response to the rest cure that was popularized at the time. Um, this is a very dear to heart. Like this is a subject that is very dear to me because I'm the biggest fan of The Yellow Wallpaper, um, which is a story that I highly, highly, highly recommend that you guys go read. I'll probably talk about that one in the future as well. There's a lot that I want to talk about. I mean, this is 5 years worth of me studying. I need to put it out somewhere, you know? It's hard, man. So, yeah, next up is Chekhov selected stories. Stories written by Anton Chekhov. He is a Russian literature. He's a Russian writer. Um, he's one of the greatest short story writers, I think, and he has some good stuff. I can't remember what story it was that I read by him. Don Chekhov is a good writer. I mean, he wrote a lot of cool short stories. I read one. I can't remember the title. It was a few years ago, but his name stuck with me, and I knew that I enjoyed that story. And I'm a huge fan of short story writers and short stories as opposed to novels. I don't read as many novels as I do short stories because there's just so much more mystery in a short story, and you kind of have to puzzle it out and tease out the information. Seems a lot more fun. So, um, next up is a book that I actually read most of but have not finished, and I probably should. And I highly, highly, highly suggest that you all go buy a copy like as soon as possible and read it because it's amazing. This is Elif Shafak's 40 Rules of Love. This book is very heavy in Sufi mysticism and verse and teachings. It's very inspired by that. It's pretty cool. I mean, in a way, I see why some people would see it's more of like a white middle aged woman type novel, but it's actually really, really eye opening. And there are so many nice stories within it. I like how it's like it's like a framed narrative where there's a larger story at play, but within it there are tinier stories. It's like 1001 Nights, but modern, I guess. So it should be fun. Next up is Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Seas. You would think that I would have read this. Can I do this like a makeup thing? Okay. You would think that I, as a literature student, graduate now, would have read this book at least once, but this classic has not passed me once. We have not taken it once. We haven't talked about it. I'm a huge fantasy fan as well, so it's very odd to me that I've never ever read this. So I'm very interested to read it. Um, I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not. I often don't like classics. I guess we'll have to see. Next up, BTS fans, this is for you. This is Herman Hesse, Damien. Actually, I haven't read this yet. I know I'm supposed to. I should have as a fan, but I haven't. And this is a new translation by Damien Searles. I don't know who that is. He should be good since it's a newer translation. But thing is, I wasn't interested in reading Damien at all before, but he seems to be referenced in a lot of things, not just BTS's music, but in a lot of places they do reference him. Also, I believe I read once that Hermann Hesse was highly inspired by Nietzsche, who is someone that I enjoy reading. So I'm interested to see what correlations there are between Damien and The Birth of Tragedy, if there are any. Hopefully there are. I mean, it'd be pretty cool to see. Now the ones that I showed you here, I have no idea when I'm gonna read them. Like I'm gonna focus on the horror stuff in October. Um, Hopefully I stay in the mood for that. I probably will be. I'll try. Otherwise, I don't know when I'm gonna read these. Maybe November, December, hopefully. Next up, and this is the last book on the list, is Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. Now, yeah, this one I was recommended to read by so many of my professors. A lot of my professors were like, Fatima, you have to read this book. Like, because they know I'm really, really into, like, I'm really into post-colonial theory and talk of, colonization, occupation, and how to decolonize. And I'm really interested in it. I think there should be correlations between Heart of Darkness and, was it Plato? I think Plato was the one who talked about darkness and the cave. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to double check that. And there's a lot of like racial critique within that. So that could be an interesting essay. Stay tuned for that. Keep an eye out for it. I guess that concludes my list. I know it's been a while. It's about 20 to 30 minutes of content. But as I said, it's very, like, my reading is pretty dense and pretty heavy. But this is the stuff that I enjoy. I do enjoy the odd romance story. I usually go for the denser, more plot heavy ones. So I guess we're gonna have to see what I make of these. I mean, a lot of these books I should have read for school, but literally in literature, no one really reads what they study. We kind of just skim over it. So hopefully I'll be able to read these. I'm gonna finish this off here because it's very late and I need to get to bed. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, thank you. I appreciate you. Please subscribe if you have not already. You probably haven't. I only have like 60 subscribers, but please subscribe. Press the notification bell. Stay tuned for more videos. Follow me on Instagram, on Twitter for updates. I do post on Twitter a lot. I post updates, polls, I ask questions. You can give me your feedback on there. I'm there all the time. So please, please, please contact me. Feedback is welcome. Criticism is welcome as well. Also, I will leave a link for my blog. So check me out there. My blog is pretty empty right now, but I do want to post more articles of things that I've written or things that I'm interested in. It's down there. All the information is going to be in the description box. I will also put the links for all of those books for you to just easily go check them out. Okay? Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day. Happy reading. Bye.